These are images of a whale in trouble. Its body is tangled with growth and other debris. Helping to set free this and all such creatures is the job of the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary.
The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to approach the whale and see what is on the whale. And you can actually see the line is wrapped through its mouth, around over its body, back around. You can see the tail flukes. The lines are going over the tops of the tail flukes. The flukes are actually rubbed somewhat raw. Then as you keep going back, I saw the gear was hanging back behind the whale. The way that I was going to actually attach the gear was with our grapple hook. And this little guy right here, I can pull this out. This is the grapple hook. And what we did with this is basically we go out and we're able to throw this over the line that the whale's dragging behind it. So this is going to then hook into that line. Something like that, it'll just hook onto it. And then that's basically going to drag our satellite buoy. We can put a satellite transmitter in that and also a radio tag.
However, depending on the situation, not all whales will be rescued.
The first thing that we're going to assess is if this is not a life-threatening entanglement, we're not going to mess with it. If it doesn't threaten the life of the whale, we don't want to mess with it because one, it's life-threatening to us to get close to these whales because they're so big, so we don't want to risk anything if we don't need to. So the first thing that we do is we assess it. This one was assessed as life-threatening. Back behind me in this black case here, I've actually got a combat inflatable Zodiac. It's all soft, there's nothing hard in it, so that we could actually be right on top of the whale. And as you'll see from the footage, that's the boat that we're in. And you'll notice that whenever we're working with the whale, the engine's always up, the props are off. We don't have anything in the water, it's actually tilted back, so everything's out, so we're just being actually pulled by the whale. And this gives us two advantages. One, it slows the whale down, and two, it allows us to come get up closer and to figure out what we're going to do with the whale. This whale, again, we were fortunate, wasn't doing a lot of diving. A lot of times they'll dive away from us. We got the whale slowed down, we've got our safety line on, and then as you can see from the footage, a lot of times we're drawing ourselves up, we're getting closer. Once we get up close, we assess, we look at where the knots are at, where it's entangled, and one of the first things you want to do is determine where is it best to make your first couple of cuts. There's a couple of options for cutting. We have two different types of knives. We've got what we call a fixed knife, and this one you can see basically will just screw into the bottom of a pole and it's actually fixed on the pole. Now there's cases when we just don't feel like it's safe enough, or we just can't get a pole in the water, or we just don't feel like we're going to be able to get enough on it, where we'll actually use what we call a flying knife. Now this one starts on the pole, but there's a rope attached to this little eye hole here. And what's going to happen is we're going to actually use the pole, get it on to where we want it, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull the pole off of it. So there's a line, and what that line is going to be attached to is either the boat or a polyball. And what that's going to do is we're going to use friction or drag to actually pull this through the rope. All I've got to do is apply drag, and it's going to actually cut through this line.
After carefully assessing the situation and cautiously approaching the animal, the rope and debris are cut away. All in a day's work for Justin and his team.
Really, one of the reasons that we're out there is because we want to learn about the entanglements to hopefully prevent them in the future. We understand that us going out and disentangling whales is not the ultimate solution to this problem. What we're trying to gather from us disentangling these whales is information so that we can hopefully prevent these things from occurring in the future.
Justin asks that you call these numbers for any emergencies that you may see. Stay with us in the coming weeks as we bring you more stories from the Hawaiian Islands Humpback Whale National Marine Sanctuary.